biting the learning curve. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a 45-minute deep dive into education. With the education landscape evolving rapidly, India's education giants are actively thinking about how India is heralding a new era of collaboration and rapid upskilling through the digital space. Please welcome Mohandas Pai, the chairman of Manipal Global Education, with us live from India. Mohandas, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you very much.
Great to see you. How are you and where are you?
Well, right now I'm in my office in Bangalore, in our fund office.
Great. Good to see you.
Good to see you
Before
too.
we move on to education, sort of broadly speaking, I just want to start this chat, Mohandas, getting your thoughts on what you think is India's main unique selling proposition in emerging tech and innovation at the moment.
Well, I think India's rich human capital is a defining item in India's, let's say, great status in technology. It started in the early 90s when we built the software service industry in India. Let me give some data. This year, India will export $170 billion of software, larger than the oil exports of Saudi Arabia. The industry employs 5 million people. This year is hiring between 500,000 to 600,000 techies all over India. And we have an industry of 225 billion. And this 170 billion could go to 250 billion by 2025 because the companies are growing in double digits. If you look at the top 10 software service companies by market value, out of the top 10, 5 are Indian, of the top 5, 3 are Indian. Of the total 2.8 million employees in the top 10 in the world, 2 million are Indian. The US has 6 million software people, 1 million are Indians. Of the 5 million working here, 2.5 million working for American companies. That means about 3.5 million people out of the 8.5 million working for American companies are Indian. It is a result of our high education system, even though gross enrollment rate is quite low at 27, and also a result of, people working extremely hard and the large numbers we have. We have 38 million young people in college. We graduate about 10 million people every year, 800,000 engineers. It's a very huge system which has created this kind of a massive human capital in technology.
So the new, economy and the rapid changes that we're seeing in technology mean that education now more than ever is actually a lifelong process, right? So as chair of Manipal Global Education, what are the fundamental principles education providers need to focus on, do you think?
Well, I think education providers should focus on student centricity in everything that they do. They must give the students what they want. Now, school children require something else from people in college, right? In the school, you need to have blended learning, a mix of physical education and digital education. Physical education, because you're growing up, the school experience is important. You have to be with your peers, you got to play with them, you got to talk, you got to communicate, you got to learn human skills, etc. And I think that is something that has to be done. It can't be done fully in the digital environment. So digital will be an input. But what digital education the school does to you is give you the option of learning how much you want to learn at any time of your convenience. It gives you access to very rich multimedia content. It gives you access to doing work and learning, solving problems all the time, doing it at a time of your choosing at any point of time and going in depth in any topic. And over a period of time, it satiates a curiosity. Because we know in a class, students might have curiosity towards a particular subject, whereas they may be bored of something else. They may want to learn. And this allows you to indulge in that and to discover yourself. So I think it has a certain role and the role has to be bigger. So blended learning is the way to go for school education. As far as college education goes, well, it gives a tremendous amount of flexibility. We have something called the new education policy in India. Under that, you can do a 1-year program and walk off and get a certificate, 2 years a diploma, 3 years a degree, 4 years a honor certificate. And you can have a mix and match of all the subjects that you can learn from multiple universities in India and overseas, provide the university you joined has linked up. And then you collect all the credits and you get a degree. So you can do a degree in 4 years, in 5 years, in 8 years, and gives you tremendous amount of flexibility. just like the United States does, except this system is much more flexible because we are going to have a credit bank which is being set up separately electronically. And now with digital education, you've got very rich multimedia content from the best professors in the world. You can do simulation exercises. You can go in depth in any topic, 101 to 108 and henceforth. And you can do so many things that you could not do. So I think digital education is enhancing the educational experience, but the key should be student centricity. Are we meeting the needs of the student? Are we catering to the student's need in the way the students want? Are we making it easy for the student to learn? Are we satiating the curiosity? Are we retaining the curiosity? If you answer this and use technology to do that, I think it will work. And that's what is happening in many of these edtech companies.
Powerful words, Mohandas. But, we agree maybe that education is a great leveler, but is it helping countries around the world kind of help with diversity and, in a sense, inclusivity for students?
Well, I think they are, because when you have digital education, the key issue is affordability. Do all people, all children have a device to connect? Do they have a data plan? Let me give you data. India has 1.2 billion devices, 1 billion 1 billion users, and maybe 800 million internet users, all on smartphones. In the next 1 or 2 years, we'll have the balance going from 2G to 4G. So we have 98% of our country connected, and now we got the Geo phone, which is going to be a cheap device with almost unlimited data plans for 100 rupees a month, $1.5, which will take the balanced people who are out of the digital world into the digital world in a big way. On top of that, there's a lot of free content available. Yes, many of these edtechs are expensive, but many of them are running social programs where they will give free education to many people. For example, Unacademy is promised to give 500,000 young girls a free digital education. That's 500,000, and that is enormous. So Baiju is doing that in a big way. People are doing that in a big way. So digital inclusion is coming in, and government is planning to spend an enormous amount of money connecting all government schools. Because in India, with possibly 265 million young people in school, it's very difficult to give everybody the same high quality educational experience, right? So I do believe that digital education for schools will enhance quality by 25-30%. And that's a significant improvement for a country of the size of India. Of course, in college education, I think is already much deeper and many things are happening. There too, there's the challenge of digital inclusivity, but I think that is a problem that is work in progress. Every year we're becoming better. In 2 years, will be even more better.